Hey, it's Mr. Allred, and we've been talking about central tendencies, and we're going to do some more examples on standard deviation. So this one says, which set of data would have the smaller standard deviation? And there's three lists of data here. The first one was the example we did in the lecture, where we found the standard deviation to be 3.46. Now, looking at these three, without doing any calculations, really, I can tell you that the smallest standard deviation will be the one where the numbers are closest together. That doesn't necessarily mean the smallest range, but usually that helps. But if we look at the middle one, B, it looks like every number is between 31 and 35. So they're not very far apart at all. The last one here, C, the numbers range from 19 to 65, so they're kind of all over the place. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you that the answer is going to be B, but you do need more examples of how to calculate standard deviation. So we'll do both of these, B and C here. So first of all, we need the mean for the set. So we're going to take the numbers in B, 33, 33, 35, 32, 34, 32, 33, 31, and add them together. And I get 263, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these. So I'm going to divide it by 8. So I'm just going to round this off to 32.88. I know I get really close there, but those decimals can really kill me when I try to type everything back in the calculator. So I'm going to make a little table. I'm going to have my data points. I'm going to have x minus the mean, the data points minus the mean, and I'm going to have all of that squared. Okay? And we'll try and be as neat as possible. So 33, 33, 35, 32, 34, 32, 33, 31. So we'll come down here to make sure we don't run out of room. So we'll try and do this the best we can without getting things too mixed up. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the first one together. 33 minus 32.88, which gives me 0.12. And when I square that, I get 0.014. We'll just keep the 3 decimal places. This is pretty close. So I'm going to go through, and I'm going to take every number in the first column, the x column, subtract the 32.88, and then I'm going to square it. And I'm going to fill in that table, and then I'm going to come back. So I'm going to pause the video while I do that. Okay, so I've completed the table here, and you can pause and compare the values I have here. If you round off or don't round off, you can get better or worse answers. But just for the sake of doing it on paper and having something to write down, I did round off. And I'm going to go ahead and take the last column and add them up. And if I add all those numbers together, I get 10.872. So then remember, the goal is to take that sum, 10.872, and divide by one less than how many items there was. And there were 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're going to take the square root. So we're going to take the square root of 10.872 divided by 7, which I'm going to leave this in my calculator, but it's about 1.553. So when I take the square root of that, I get that the standard deviation is about 1.246. So I guess comparing it to the one that I've already rounded to 2 decimal places, we'll say 1.25 for B. Okay. So we're going to do the same thing for C. First of all, we need the mean. So the numbers I have are 45, 21, 65, 37, 19, and there's 5 of those, which makes it a lot shorter. So when I add those together, I get 187, and I'm going to divide by 5 to get the average, 37.4. So I think we saw this number somewhere before. So I'm going to make a little table. I have X, which is all my items, 45, 21, 65, 37, 19. I'm going to take every one of those numbers and subtract the 37.4. Then we'll take every one of those numbers and square it. So let's see here. Let's do the first one. 45 minus 37.4 gives me 7.6. And when I square it, I get 57.76. So I'm going to pause it while I complete the table and then pick back up with you in a second. Okay, so I've completed the table here, and you can pause and look at the numbers I got and compare them to yours. I don't think I had to round anything after I round the 37.4. But I got the numbers in the last column, and if I add them all together, all 5 of them, I get 1427.2. So remember, the goal is to take that number, 1427.2, and divide it by 1 less than how many items there were, and there were 5. So I'm dividing by 4. So I'm going to take that number, divide it by 4, which gives me 356.8, and I got to take the square root of that. So I get 18.89 as the standard deviation there, 18.89. Now, make sure you're able to somewhat get these answers. But going back to the original question, which one of these had the smallest standard deviation? It was B, like we said, because they're spread out a lot less than the other ones. But here's 3 different examples, the one we did in the lecture and the other 2, of making that table and calculating the standard deviation. So if you got any questions left over from that, just let me know and reach out. Thank you.